But something else that people are probably mad about, I know I'm mad about it, is all the layoffs that have been happening in Hollywood, and it might be leading to the end of Hollywood. That's my question tonight. And now leads me to our feature story of the night. So overall, WB recently has kind of big layoffs coming. Like 1,000 more people are going to be laid off. Cost cutting, they're saying, of course, cost cutting across the company, including Max, other areas of production, business, business affairs, and finance. And it's going to be like, they're saying it's smaller than the last one, but I'm like, they're saying like 1,000 people. So how small can it be? And of course, their affiliate company, CNN, just recently laid off like 100 people on top of there. Zaslav is just axing people left and right. Layoffs are saying, again, it's cost cutting due to, when they actually merged, they've had a lot of issues. The stock dropped a long time ago, like 70% when they actually merged with Discovery, and they've been trying to make up the money since then. But on top of that, now Paramount's cutting people too. They've been cutting the cat like 800 people not too long ago. There's more cuts coming at Paramount since the acquisition from Skydance. And on top of that too, Disney said this summer too, there's going to be more cutbacks coming back. And look at the whole business in general. This past year, here are the companies that have been laying people off: Amazon, Netflix, NBC Universal, YouTube, Roku, Sony, Marvel, Fifth Season, Lionsgate, Stars, Shared Entertainment, Blumhouse. Everybody's been laying people off. Even the companies, even the casting companies, or the agencies, CAA, UTA, that KSMR situation came out where they're freaking not paying their people. They're calling a full-scale depression for the entertainment industry in Hollywood. That's what's being called. And overall, my question is, can the business survive this? Again, people have been going outside the state, constantly taking business other places. Can Hollywood survive? I guess this is a business been thriving forever since we went from the talkies to before the silent era. We built our way up. We've been here through the wars and the depression, the fatigue, and everything else of people not being able to even be in the wars in general, like not being able to just be at home with their family, to have and get a laugh in. Entertainment's come a long way, and now it's just dying in this town that we're taking out of state, out of country, looking for tax cuts, Tom Cruise going to space. Will Hollywood actually survive this? That is the question. Or is this the death of Hollywood? Again, if you've been in this town at all, you would know it's been quiet. There's been a lot less work. Zaslav canceled any more movies. Well, he hasn't canceled anything. There are some things we're talking about maybe that are going to happen where he's going to take some more write-offs. There's a whole rumor that he might sell to Universal too in a big conglomerate merger. But a lot of things like that keep making me scared about the business. I moved out here 15 years ago, almost 16 years ago. Jenny knows that. We move out here for a reason and become to find a passion, drive ourselves to get there. And the work is drying up more and more and more. It's harder and harder to be a working actor. And these contracts don't help that much, and we keep wanting to strike based off it. Jenny, do you think that Hollywood's changed a lot since you've moved here, and do you think that it's going to survive another 10 years?
It has changed so much. I mean, we moved here around the same time. Let's see, I got here 2009, and that was before SAG and AFTRA even merged. Do you remember these SAG shows, after shows? I remember just feeling so inspired, like getting my SAG card, and then over the last, oh my goodness, well, I feel like shortly before COVID, but since COVID and then all of the strikes and streaming, it is becoming so much more and more uncertain. I feel like the thing is, entertainment is there's always going to be a need for entertainment. People want content. People want stories. I think that will always be the case, but I think Hollywood's going to have to adapt in a way that I just can't even foresee. Like you said, we've been through talkies from silent into talkies, and we made it through the Great Depression, the wars, all of these things. People have always come to the movies to kind of unify and escape. So I wonder if maybe there will be less content, but higher quality in the future. Possibly, I don't know. And then growing from there, I feel like kind of adapting, finding a new way. Maybe it kind of brings to mind like what was happening in the early 70s when Paramount almost went under, like around the time that like The Godfather came out, and a lot of those artistic directors, they were kind of giving them these this freedom, right? So I wonder if the independent film, you see like people just funding their own movies now. What, like Kevin Costner, and speaking of The Godfather, Francis Ford Coppola just
Yeah.
self-financed that
Metropolis.
giant movie.
Megalopolis.
I wonder if it's going to be more and more of that. Artists who had a career when it was viable, self-producing, self-financing outside of the studios. But I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that might be a direction that could possibly?
It could. I think people have ever since the potential strikes and stuff. Ever since potential strikes and stuff, people have been trying to produce their own stuff, and there's been this drive for the independent film industry to kind of grow and grow and grow, which again is a good thing. But on top of that too, it's like if there's no jobs here, those don't pay as well. They're not. A lot of them are cutting corners. Look at the Rust thing; they're cutting corners, and people are getting injured and hurt. There's rules for a reason, and we do this. We follow them and get paid for a certain working wage. We're still fighting for a working wage so we can actually pay for our bills in this town. The expenses keep going up, and we're not getting like the same kind of wages, and that's an unfortunate thing. So that's why I worry about it being we talked about before in the show about it being more of a side job than an actual full-time job. And that's what I worry about, because we should be able to have a full-time job being an actor or being anywhere in the business. It should be that way, but I feel like it's disappearing. I feel like it's disappearing.
You should be able to make a living, in this industry and be protected and not taken advantage of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, you're right, Sean. All industries, if you work a job, especially as big as this business is, it's a big business. Again, show business, it's there, the business aspect. It's like you should be able to afford to live and work in that business. No, you're fine, Jenny. We can see you.
Okay. But I didn't hear it.
I guess it's show business. So business for a reason. That's what it is.
Right. Yeah. So people need to be able to make a living. So I wonder how it's going to adapt. I feel like we almost need to consolidate. We've tried the strikes, though. I don't know. What other means we can take, but something has to change, or Hollywood is not going in a good direction.
It's doomed.
So,
and that's what I'm worried about. That's why I brought this conversation up. I see the cuts. I see the people that's not being able to afford things. I see the Teamster president going out there shouting about how they can't get paid enough. Sean, what do you think, man? Do you feel like there's a detrimental catastrophe coming to Hollywood, or do you think that it's going to be fine, dandy, and they're going to be able to come back from this stronger than ever?
I mean, the optimist in me wants to feel like things can change. I think the realist and the more pragmatic is concerned. I've got friends out in that industry. I know you guys. I got a good buddy in production out in California, and jobs just aren't there. It's scary. I really think that there are larger implications for what's happening in Hollywood with a lot of industries, a lot of corporations squeezing people. There's no more juice left in that orange. It's sad. Yeah. It's scary. I know for everyone. I really wish that society was different and people made what they needed and not more. And we didn't reward cruelty and greed. Oh God, I'm getting too deep on this one.
Getting deep.
Yeah, it's sad to see it too, because I like Brian, when you moved out to California, I was very excited for you and scared for you and nervous for you and happy for you and all those emotions, man. And knowing that there are so many Brians out there and so many fans of Brian's like me, and it's
Jenny's.
Scary. And Jenny's, yes, of course. Don't forget the Jenny's. It's disappointing. It's really to shave a couple pennies off the stock, or to raise the stock price, or do buybacks, and give this bonus or whatever. We're gonna lose 10,000 people, 1,000 people, whatever. There's no shortage.
It's a minor cut. Minor cut, they say. Just 1,000 people.
But how many minor cuts can any industry? Any person, any actor, professional, whatever, sustain before they're just bled dry? It's just, I don't know when that reckoning, when that realization is going to be had. Yeah.
Yeah, I worry about it. I worry about it so much so that I just keep thinking what's going to happen to us. That's why I see these cutbacks. Now, it's a larger conversation that is building and growing, Mike, that people are like, you're talking about cutting, and then like people can't survive. People are moving out of state. Again, there are other places, there's our mini Hollywoods. We have Georgia, of course, but that's right to work state. People, again, can't even get the jobs they thought they could. There's a lot of people moving there. There's Canada. Moving to Canada, I know Racer X said that too. A lot of things are going there. But this is where we're supposed to do everything. This is like this is the heart of the business, and it's dying. It's dying. The jobs aren't there, and people can't afford to actually work. And the people that are working are being cut. Again, the producers want to make more, and they keep making more every year. Hence why these residuals are going away. Hence why the contracts are changing. Hence why they're trying to use AI more. Which again, I get it, but use it in conglomeration with everything else that we're doing. Make it work so we can make our jobs easier and not take the jobs away. What do you think, Mike? You think the business would be okay? Do you see Hollywood falling into a forever trap and a deep dive hole that we can never crawl out of? Or do you think that there's something that's going to shine a light upon us that's going to save the business and make us laugh, enjoy the business, and be a part of something happy and thrilling again?
It's so tough, Brian. Like my internet glommed back on like in the midst of such an intense conversation. I'm always gonna peg the responsibility on the hyper wealthy picking your pocket. Like that's the way I see the world. That's the kind of guy I am. So when I see mergers that are increasing efficiencies and reducing competition in the market, I'm going to say this is not America. This is not how we have historically operated to compete on a global scale. I don't know, Brian. I love AI. It's super fun. But I have to imagine that Sean has seen discussion of AI in conferences. I spend my weekends asking AI to write songs about falling in love with cheeseburgers. And what they give me back, I'm like, this is beautiful commercial material. Like, I don't have to pay a guy for this, but I would want this if I was a company. Like,
yeah, but they're cutting people. They're trying to make more money on the back end. They're like, they're cutting corners in order to make it so they have more money in their pockets. Again, it's just 1,000 people. They'll say, oh, it's a small cut. 1,000 people is a lot of people in this business. A lot of people in this town.
You reminded me of the other point that I had, Brian, is that there is kind of an ongoing concern about whether or not we want to be able to support a professional class of actors and movie makers. I think just from an aesthetic perspective, as a consumer, as an enjoyer of these movies, like, I think that you get a level of buy-in, a level of commitment from somebody who does this for a living, day in, day out, who goes home and thinks about it rather than goes home and, like, I don't know, plans their next other work situation. I think that you get better art is the bottom line. So I think that there is an argument to be made for the fact that we do really need / really want a professional class. And the question is like, in America, if we're asking if we still need a professional class of this industry that's like a massive industry, that's like a huge red flag. So I don't know. I only got a little bit of what our other guests were saying, but it doesn't necessarily speak well of the state of culture at large.
WB, right. Just stop.
Yes.
All right, Pepe? Just stop. Pepe, how do you feel about this?
That right there makes so much sense.
Okay. Pepe doesn't really know what's going on. But Pepe... but yeah, he's doing his best. He's got his polo on. He's business casual tonight. Jenny, yeah, I worry about the business so much. Again, we've been working it for so long, so and it's like we're all having to like do other things and step outside the box, figure it out, and you can't like get a full-time gig anymore. Again, the business has been slowing down because of the strikes. This year has been horrible for a lot of people. They have not been working as much as it is. People are like, oh, it's booming. There'll be so much work, and they haven't been shooting as much, and the wages went up, and because of that, now they're having less people, so they are laying people off. To supplement that.
I hesitate to say that those are causally connected, Brian. I don't know that that's the case. I think that there are people that benefit from you thinking that that's the case, but I don't know that I can say that that's true.
So you think that
causation is not correlation? Is that
yeah,
right?
but I did hear
Vice
like
versa.
honestly also for like the doubling the standings stuff in that world, they have been having people double up a lot because they said the wages are too much, they're too expensive, and so they have that.
But they're still making money. Like the productions are bigger than ever is the thing. So that argument does not cut it, Brian. It does not cut it.
It's bullshit. But that's what they say though. That's what they say. It's bullshit.
Yeah, no shit, because they want to make more money. That's always what they say. They say, "Oh, boo, I'm not making enough money," as I cry on my pillow of billion-dollar bills. Get fucked, guys.
Like Scrooge McDuck diving into his money bin. Jenny, you heard that shit before too. You probably seen that too, right? In the business, in the town.
Oh my goodness, yeah, and just watching so many people leave because they need to do other things because it's not viable anymore, and even like getting an audition, it's like, oh my gosh, like I think it's just becoming so competitive for the few pieces that are left, even standing in background, especially. And it's just been really sad to see a lot of people have to quit this dream or feel that they have to give it up, you know. So I'm an optimist as well. So I like to try to find the way to adapt within this. And I'm so happy that you're still here in LA and that we have some friends who are persevering through this. And I can only hope that there's something better on the other side.
I really hope so too. I hope that it turns around and we figure it out and the business becomes booming again, because right now it's not happening that way. And there's more layoffs coming. Like I said, Disney's got layoffs coming. They're being, again, we talked about earlier, but there's a potential strike at Disney too for all their people too, all their concession people, all the costume characters, a lot of things happening. And Disney is one of the biggest companies, and they just keep putting more money in their pocket and less to the working man, woman.
But they're not making enough money, apparently, Brian. But somehow they continually grow and acquire. But you can't have any of it. Is the more salient point.
And they also saw that massive expansion that's happening too on Florida, I think, of their whole amusement park too. They're still doing that. So not to the extent they were before, because a lot of people are suing them now because that's not going down the same way. So it just really bugs me that this town is becoming what it's become, and it's hard to get a job. I know a lot of friends that aren't working right now and struggling and trying to stay here and focus. Have been here for 15, 20 years, and now it's like, how do I survive? You can't survive unless you're like, you can't do it. And it's supposed to be a business. Mm-hmm. Your juxtaposition all the time, bouncing back and forth, Jenny, trying to do whatever you do. People are doing TaskRabbit, people are Ubering, lifting.
Yeah, remote work, whatever people can get, they're putting it on the side. And it used to really be something you could do full time. We used to do this like every day. We'd be on a set if you wanted to, you know, back in the day.
It was like no problem. You call up and bam, you got a job. It was like so simple to do.
Calling,
it was so simple. Yeah, you work tomorrow if you want. Right now, it was no problem, and that's unfortunate. But I think that this is foreshadowing what's happening in Hollywood again. These firings, these layoffs across the board, all these big studios. You know, I think that at the end of the day, it's detrimental to business, and I hope that show business can survive. They've gone through a lot, but we have to be wary. We have to be skeptical, and we have to call the bullshit out when it goes down so that this shit stops, so this town can survive, and so this business does not die, because we love it all. We need to entertainment, help people through depression, we said before, through bad times, good times, ups, downs, lefts, and rights, so we can come together as one to enjoy a quality product, and hopefully those products aren't going away anytime soon. Mm-hmm. Wait to find out.
Yo, player, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when we are live. And if you are able to join our Patreon, please join. Because the pep star needs more snickety snacks. Because I'm hungry. Holla back. Love y'all.